guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Monday, and this is the Wrestling Wrap-Up, a handful of news brought to you in one easy-to-watch video. As far as today's news stories do go, we're going to recap everything that took place on Friday as far as the WWE Draft goes, and then give you a preview of tonight and what we can expect on Raw as far as the draft. We're also going to talk about other draft things like people not knowing and whatnot, Backlash, Carmella, Gunther and Ginny, the AEW video game. We got an update on that. Trinity Fought 2 has gone to Impact, and so much more, because again, this is the Wrestling Wrap-Up. Every Monday and Friday morning, roughly between 11 and 11:30 a.m. Pacific, we bring you all the latest news in professional wrestling that you may have missed. It's a way for us to not just report on the news, but report on it and actually talk a little more about it, unlike our other videos where we just give you the news and there we go. We don't elaborate on anything. Remember, you can watch this show a myriad of different ways, whether that is live or later. You can watch live on Twitch, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited. You can watch live or later on YouTube, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Or you can listen on podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. You take that Amazon Prime account, you take that Twitch Prime account, you link them together, bada bing, bada boom. Well, you take the Amazon Prime account and the Twitch account, link them together, and your Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and they always give you one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, Prime Gaming doesn't just help us, it helps you, because it gives you full free games like Wolfenstein: The New Order, Ghost Pilots, The Beast Inside, which is actually a really fun game, Beholder 2, and so much more. Those are just some of the games available right now. Also, remember to head over to YouTube and become a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. Plus, remember to head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming the free games are getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, well, use our code right down here, PW Unlimited at checkout. Trying to get them free games. Right now, the free games are Poker Club and Breath Edge. Poker Club's really fun. If you like poker-style games, like just playing poker on computer online and stuff, go claim that game. It's free right now on the Epic Game Store. But if you're trying to go into the free games like Star Wars Jedi Survivor or Dead Island 2, you can use code PWU, NLIMITED at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. So as we move on here, as far as our first news story does go, we got the WWE Draft. It kicked off last week on Friday Night SmackDown, and there were, I guess you could say, some shockers, some not shockers, and we're going to get into all of that right here. I have my draft board written down, got everything, who was drafted where and whatnot, and this and that and so forth. Sometimes writing things down on paper, at least for me, is a lot easier and quicker and better to keep organized than doing it on like a Word document or spreadsheet or something. So I still use many notebooks. I've got so many, and some people go, "Yeah, that's a thing of the past. Just type it on your computer or your phone." Nah, I like having the notebooks. So as far as the draft does go, we're going to talk Raw, then SmackDown, and then everything else. So on the broadcast, this is what was drafted. Raw got Cody Rhodes, Becky Lynch, Imperium, all three members, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre, The Miz, Shinsuke Nakamura, and the NXT Women's Champion, Indy Hartwell. One of the big surprises. SmackDown took The Bloodline, which is only Roman Solo and Paul Heyman. Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion. Street Profits, Edge, Bobby Lashley, the OC, which is AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Michin Mia Yim. Damage Control, all 3 members, and the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Double Fire and Isla Dawn. And it's Isla Dawn, Michael Cole, not Isla Dawn. He said it 2 or 3 times. Isla Dawn, Isla Dawn. No, Michael Cole, it's Isla Dawn. So that is everything that was announced during the SmackDown broadcast. And Michael Cole then said there are more names to be drafted. Those names will be announced tomorrow morning on the SmackDown Lowdown. On the SmackDown Lowdown, we did learn that going to SmackDown is Hit Row, all 3 members, and Lacey Evans. Going to Raw are the Viking Raiders, Dexter Lumis, Maximum Male Models, Natalia, Apollo Crews, Great, Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, Zoe Stark, JD McDonough. Omos and MVP, Mustafa Ali, Dolph Ziggler, and Von Wagner are all going to be free agents. But now I need to look at something because I don't have Candice LeRae written down anywhere. I think she went to Raw. Let me double check that. I don't have that written down though. I think Candice went to Raw. Let me know in the live chat. Live chat's not even working for me. Let me refresh this to make the live chat work. Because for some reason, I don't have Candice LeRae's name written down anywhere. Nope. That's not what I wanted. Draft pools. Candice was night 1. But where did she get drafted to? Hold on. Fonzie's saying she did go to Raw. Okay, so you guys are just confirming it for me. I'm pretty sure she went to Raw, but for some reason, I didn't write her name down. So let me write that down. So the interesting stuff here are the free agents. Like, what? People are going to remain free agents? Why? Why is Omos a free agent? Why is Mustafa Ali and Dolph Ziggler a free agent? And why does somebody in Von Wagner get called up to the main roster but not to a brand? How does that even work? That's the one that makes the least sense of all of this. But at the same time, okay, MVP, and let me see if I can find the tweet, because I think MVP sent out a tweet trying to justify Omos being a free agent. Let me see if I can find the tweet now. MVP, Montel Vontavious Porter. I think he might have tweeted out like a good explanation for Omos, but I don't want to get that wrong. I don't see it. I swore I saw something where he was like, I worked out a deal where Omos doesn't have to be restricted to one brand or something like that, but I don't see the tweet anymore. And maybe I'm not even on the right MVP Twitter because, you know, it's hard to find someone's real Twitter now when the check marks don't even matter. MVP. Fucking Twitter. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, they're going to be free agents. It's unclear why. Nobody said why they're free agents. They're just going to remain as free agents. It's very weird and odd, and I don't understand it at all. So, as we look at, and before we talk about what's on tap for tonight, we can kind of look at some of these draft picks and go, well, with this pick here, that might dictate this going here for tonight. So, first off, Becky Lynch on Raw. That means Seth staying on Raw. That's the one as far as like, oh, well, you're married to you're her, he, and this and that. Yeah. So Candice LeRae also on Raw means Johnny Gargano staying on Raw, which means Indy on Raw, which means Dexter on Raw, which means the way almost coming together. The way almost coming together. We don't know what's going to happen with Austin Theory. In no pun intended, in theory, you would think that Theory goes to SmackDown because Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, is going to Raw. Now, that might be the route they go. But if Austin Theory, and Messi in the live chat says Austin Theory is for sure going to SmackDown, not 100% because hear me out. we don't know where, well, we know where Bobby Lashley's going. That's SmackDown. So what if Austin Theory gets drafted to Raw? Everyone gets in a tizzy tonight. Oh my God, what's going to happen with the U.S. title, the IC title? Well, what if Bobby Lashley wins at Backlash this weekend, in turn taking the U.S. title over to SmackDown? Bronson Reed hasn't been drafted either. What if he also gets drafted to SmackDown, wins the IC title this weekend, takes it to SmackDown? Those are things we have to look at. So just because Gunther got drafted to Raw with the IC title doesn't 100% mean that Austin Theory is going to SmackDown, but it kind of, in a way, lets us know that. Now, if Theory gets drafted to Raw, and he, if Theory gets drafted to Raw, that almost in turn does give a spoiler for the match at Backlash that he is dropping the title. So that is unfortunate that it could spoil that. Because if he gets drafted to SmackDown, it doesn't super spoil it because Bobby could still win. Because Bobby's a SmackDown. So that's one that's kind of like a little harder to predict than you would think. Also with Bianca Belair going to SmackDown, that would lead one to think that Rhea Ripley stays on Raw. Rhea Ripley stays on Raw as the SmackDown Women's Champion. They flip-flop the belts. There we go. Bada bing. With Rhea moving or staying to Raw, then that would in turn make you think Judgment Day would also be on Raw with Finn, Damian, and Dominic. But with them drafting them separately, with them being separate, that is the odd thing. That is the weird part of why are Judgment Day drafted separately from Rhea? And another one you got to look at like that is the Bloodline. Why are the Usos drafted differently than Roman and Solo? Could there be a possibility that the Usos get drafted to Raw with Roman and Solo staying on SmackDown? On SmackDown, Heyman kept doing might be the night Solo, might be the night Solo, thinking that Solo is going to beat down and destroy the Usos if they don't win the titles, which they didn't win. Maybe the Bloodline also loses at Backlash, and that's when Solo turns and destroys both Usos, saying, yeah, I'm with Roman on SmackDown. You guys go back to Raw. You guys go to Raw. I don't know. A lot of questions to be answered tonight as far as who is available to be drafted tonight on Monday Night Raw or later. Because here's the thing. With Raw, they have the Raw, whatever the